Let's look at the next problem number 3. Two planes flying opposite directions, north and south, pass each other 80 miles apart at the same altitude. Alright, the northbound plane is flying 200 miles an hour, and the southbound plane is flying 150 miles an hour. How far apart are the planes in 20 minutes? When are the planes 300 miles apart? Okay, so let's draw the situation. So we have a plane which is flying north. We have another plane which is flying south. And they're same altitude, but they're 80 miles apart. Alright. So let's have a little plane here. So this is one plane which is going north, and this is another plane, it's a half plane, which is going south. Okay. This one is going 200 miles an hour, so 200 miles per hour, and this one is going 150 miles per hour. How far apart are the planes in 20 minutes? Okay, so they're basically, we start them when they're just passing each other. So they're 80 miles apart at t0. But we want to let 20 minutes pass. Okay, so we have t equals 20 minutes. Let's change this into hours. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So this is 1/3 of an hour. Okay, so let's see how far the first plane went. So 200 miles per hour, again distance equals rate times time. So we have 200 miles per hour in 1/3 of an hour. Okay, and that gives us the distance that the northbound plane covered in 20 minutes. So 66.67 miles. The other plane, we have 150 miles per hour times 1/3 of an hour. This covered 50 miles. Okay, so this goes 66.7 miles. Actually, that's 66.7 miles, and this one goes 50 miles. Alright, and now we have to figure out how far apart they are, like this. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Probably a good way to answer this is to draw one big triangle like this, because then we can sort of use the distance formula or the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. ABC like this. We have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so the reason we can just do it with one triangle instead of trying to figure out like two separate triangles, because we know A is 80. B is the combination of those two distances. We have the 66.7 and we have, like, this is 50, this also has to be 50. Alright, so combined this is 116.7. Okay, and we can square and add and take the square root to figure out the diagonal distance. So 80 squared plus 116.7 squared. And then take the square root. And we have that C is 141.5 miles. There we go. Okay, so that answered that first part. Okay, let's look at the second part. When are the planes 300 miles apart? It's kind of basically doing the same problem, but in reverse. So here we have that we know the C. We know that C equals 300 miles. This is still 80. Okay, so A is still 80. But now we don't know how much time has passed. Let's try this again. So we gotta figure out this distance. Let's figure out what the B is. Okay, so we're gonna do the same. We have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is 80 because just the distance between them. C, we're told, is 300. That's where they end up. So we have B squared equals 300 squared minus 80 squared. Alright, we're going to take the square root. So we have B equals 289.1 miles. So this is the distance here, 289.1. Okay. Now the last step is to kind of split it up. I have 200 miles per hour here for this plane going this way, 150 miles per hour for this plane going this way. So we know the distance of this one covers is 200 miles times the time it takes. Okay, we don't know the time. This is what we're trying to find. And the distance this one covers is 150 miles times the time. But these distances get added because they're like going opposite directions. This is going this south, this is going north, and this is going south. So the distances need to be combined to give you the 289. So we have 200t plus 150t gives me 289.1 miles. So 350t equals 289.1 miles. So t is going to be 289.1 divided by 350. Right, so that will give us the time. 289.1 divided by 350, 0.826 hours. If I multiply that by 60, that's like about 50 minutes. Alright, cool. So that's it for this problem.